It's Radio Skid Row 88.9, and you know who it is. It's the Good Smoke. We have finally began, and we've got Inferno in the building. What's up, Inferno?
What's up, bro?
What's going on?
So good to be here, man.
We also got Gambino.
What's up?
And we also got Pax. How you going, Pax?
What's good? What's good?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have started a bit late, but we finish at 8, so stay tuned. Remember that number, 9550-9552. All right, let us begin this, because I've been talking to this dude for, what, 2 weeks now? 3
Couple
weeks?
weeks, yeah.
Been following him on Instagram, seeing him in a few places on the internet with interviews and stuff like that, but it's pretty hard to dig up some stuff on you, so
For sure.
hopefully tonight we can pick your brain and see what you're going through and all that sort of stuff.
Let's do it, man.
All right, guys, remember I'm taking the phone off the hook, so then no one can call during the interview, so you don't wreck this interview, but I'll put it back on when I put music on, so you can call in if you want to chat. I got the Facebook going on, so check that out. If you want a question to be asked, I'll check that later, and then I can ask him that question. So let's go. What's your real name, man? Let's go from there.
My real name is Carlo.
What's up, Carlo?
So I come from like a half Italian, half Lebanese background.
Man, the story of Australia. Eh?
Very diverse in
very
Australia.
diverse, that's
Yeah.
right. Are you first generation, right?
Yes.
So your parents came here?
Yeah, my parents came here. Well, my mum was born here, but she comes from a very Italian background.
Oh, okay.
And my dad was born in Lebanon, but he grew up in the States actually. So,
Oh, nice.
So to be honest, I actually grew up in a very Americanized culture at home. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, the thing is that when I found out you were Lebanese, that's one thing that like I was like, wow, I'm proud of you, man, because it's the only time that we see each other on the screen is if we're in trouble or something like that.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So the thing is
Yeah.
that you're doing something positive, and not only that, the music is quality. Like, it's not just rubbish, garbage. You're just doing it because you think you can do it. You're doing it because you can actually do it. So
Thank you, man.
So where you brought up in? What area?
Near Liverpool area.
No.
So the southwest of
Southwest,
Sydney.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So I've been near that area my whole life, pretty much. Yeah, man. Like I know it inside out, pretty much, man. Yeah.
I know that I come from the southeast, so like around like Moore Park and all that sort of.
Oh yeah,
Coogee.
near the city and that.
Yeah. So I see you guys on the news all the time, all the trouble that goes on in there too.
All the southwest Sydney trouble, huh?
Yeah. But no, recently, like with hip hop that's coming into Australia, there's a lot of things booming out there. So
For sure, man.
we've had one of the artists here called Motherland, and they were talking about them getting raised in that area in Penrith and stuff like that. And that's something I want to ask you. How is it raised over there? Like listening to the people, like talking to the people on this side of the east side or whatever.
Yeah.
What is it? Something that we've like misconstrued about you guys? And
Well, I think the southwest of Sydney isn't, it's not as bad as people make it out really to be. It is the rougher side of Sydney, but to me, it's nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to like another state, because Gambino comes from Adelaide.
all
right,
it's
so
even murder capital.
he's from the murder capital
Yeah,
of
that's
Australia.
right, yeah,
so
that's
southwest Sydney is nothing.
That's
like,
not
yeah,
to compare. Yeah, that's right. I know that I've been to Adelaide. I hear the stories of Elizabeth and stuff like that over there.
Yes.
And it's like it's ruthless, man, ruthless. I have a friend that is raised from that area. Like he grew up, born there. And shout out to Daniel. He knows who I am. We traveled a little places together. But he's telling me it's rough out there. So, but how did you deal with it, man? Being Lebanese, being Italian, and that's even an obstacle in itself. And then being out there, like where there are now a lot of that nationality.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Liverpool area, like when I was a lot younger, was a lot of Italians mostly. So, to be honest, growing up as like an ethnic
It was
kid,
easy for you.
it wasn't as hard like as it seemed to be. I mean, like I did get bullied here and there, like when I was younger in school, but it was never anything that would affect me and my mental state, if you know what I mean.
In the long run.
Yeah, in the long run, yeah. I mean, I pride myself on being an ethnic man. Like we all should. Like if you're come from a different color or whatever it is, nationality, whatever it is, yeah. So like, but to me, like we're all the same anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It doesn't matter
it's
what.
human, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
So
It's just that thing that comes in school time when they pick on you and stuff like that. And
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like even if you were talking about being a rapper at that young age and you're ethnic, they're like, oh, you're a wannabe, or
Yeah,
you're trying to
100%.
be American or something like that. And I copped that, man, because I remember guys at school used to sell burnt CDs, and I used to love hip hop, man, listening to it all the time, and then it would come out in my language, when I speak to them, oh, you're trying to be American, but it was something that I just grew up in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely had that as well. In high school, I was selling burnt CDs.
Yeah, I know. That's what I want to get into next. I was trying to segue to that.
So, I mean, I definitely had that. You sound like Eminem, or you want to be like Eminem, because I was like, I'm ethnic, but I'm also white. You know what I mean? So like people look at me like in that sort of sense where it's like, oh, you just want to be rapper. Like
exactly. But you also got your own accent, like within yourself as well, having that nationality in you.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have that like true blue Aussie accent in you, so it's hard to even try to be an Aussie rapper when you don't even have the Aussie accent, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
So all right, so you started. We'll go before the CDs. We'll go back to like 5 years old when you were introduced to rap, you know.
Yeah.
And I was digging up and all that, but I just want to get it from the horse's mouth. What was it like growing up with hip hop? Like, how were you introduced to it, and how did you fall in love with it?
Well, like I wasn't really like a normal kid. I didn't like to play games or like go outside and play sport or anything like that. I really started with my mum. She gave me a CD player, and she gave me CDs like Backstreet Boys.
Oh yeah.
Mary J. Blige, like all these like
all the cool stuff.
Yeah, all the other genres, you know.
Oh man, the other week we're talking. The beginning, the first show we were talking about Mambo No. 5 and Hanson. And
yeah. It was all that old school,
Rage
that Rage stuff,
yeah.
So stuff you see on Rage and things like that, and then my brother sort of walked into my room, my older brother, and he was like, "What the fuck are you listening to?" And he chucked me a "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. When I was about 5 years old, and it like from there on pretty much changed my life, man.
Yeah.
Because when I first listened to that, it was like I was like, what the fuck is this, man? Like you know, I was like, this is crazy.
It
like,
warped your mind. There.
Yeah, it warped my mind for sure. And I remember like just getting into the genre of hip hop from there. Like the lyricism is what really stood out to me, the wordplay and things like that Eminem used, and
awesome, man.
And then I just like my mum used to tell me like, oh, if you're a good kid, you know, like for this week, I'll give you $5. You can go to Sanity, the CD store.
Oh, that's right, Sanity.
And buy a CD. Yeah. So I'd go there and I'd use my $5 to go and buy a CD, and I'd walk into the genre of hip hop, and lucky enough, I was buying classics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had no idea what I was buying, but I bought like Get Rich or Die Trying, Illmatic, like all the classics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then like from there on, it's like I sort of learnt what I wanted to do, like the fact that like that's the way they express themselves. I wanted to express myself like that as well. You know, so back then CDs had instrumentals on it, so I would
that's right. Yeah.
I'd listen to the song like 50 to 100 times and then like recite the lyrics, so that I learned that structure of lyricism and things like that. Yeah, so that's how I started, man, when I was younger.
That's mad, man, because it really reminds me of like me upbringing as well, because hip hop for me was like sort of a defense, you know what I mean? And the first time I got introduced, believe it or not, was from my auntie, and she's only like 10 years older than me, because my mom's got a big family, and she showed me Snoop Dogg Gin and Juice, and you know what I mean? I was like 10 years old or something, and I was like, what are you showing me? But something about it that gave me confidence, man, and
for sure.
And I used that as a defense at school. We used to like here and there have hip hop battles, and I used it to like give myself courage, you know what I mean? And it got me along. So talking about school, getting into school now, you started selling your own music, man.
Yeah, man. So when I was 13, I started taking it serious, man. I started really thinking, like, I can do this, because I was writing, like, in class, like, I wasn't doing my schoolwork and shit. I was writing.
That's me, bro. I swear.
Yeah,
so true.
So I was writing and stuff, and I remember showing like one of this guy at my school. He was a rapper, like known as the rapper of the school, and he was in like year 11. I was in year 7, and I was like, yo, can I spit something for you? He's like, sure. And I did. He was like, damn, that was good, bro. Yeah, and then he was like, oh, I'll bring you on stage with me. So like we did a talent quest.
And what was his name?
Luigi. Shout out Luigi. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So we did a talent quest, and we called ourselves the Next Generation with two of my other homies at the time, and when we did that talent quest, and we rocked the crowd, bro. Like and I was like, this is what I want to do, man. And then you know from there on, I started. I needed a studio, so I went to Street University in Liverpool and started to record there, because it's a council-run studio, so it's free studio time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then £6, shout out to £6, he was my mentor back then. It really like molded me in my mentality of the hip-hop genre, and not only that, just like being inside the game sort of thing. So, and so I recorded my mixtapes at the Street University, and then I burnt them myself, had them printed out, like and shit at Officeworks, put them in dual CDs, sold 100 at school for like $10 each.
Wow, man. You know what? The first thing that happened, like I know rapping, you know, as a kid that comes up, and sometimes people fade away from it. And that side I can understand. But when I first heard you selling CDs at that age, the first thing that came to mind, or two things came to mind, but the first thing came, like, how did you have the mentality to think in business at that time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the second thing I thought, when you told me you were Lebanese, I go, okay, it's in our DNA to be a business person.
Definitely,
you know what I mean? We're very entrepreneurship that we do in our culture. And it's like, did your dad teach you that? Was it your mum?
Well, at the time, my parents didn't know I was doing it, but my father was definitely did have an influence on me on entrepreneurship and things like that, because he did own a business and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like I got those traits, especially from my dad. But I was always very streetwise, and I was like, even when I was like at a younger age, I was always very like. I felt like I knew what my purpose was at a young age. You know what I mean? So, just to do that, I had help from one of my homies, Eminem, as well, who helped me out, and he's got a mad entrepreneurial brain as well. So he helped me out with the CDs and stuff like that. So, I mean, from there on, like I built a home studio from the money CDs? I made. Yeah.
Okay, man. I got to ask another question, because there's youth out there that you know, it's like they get, I think, what is it, 16? You're allowed to get a job in this country.
Yeah.
And there's kids that have that brain, but they don't know how to put it together. Like, what is some encouragement, or where do they start? Like something tangible. How can they start with anything? Like, what is the genesis of starting something like that?
When you think there's no way into things, there's always a way around it. It's because I was like looking at studios and wondering how I'm going to get into a studio. You know, we live in a world today. And a generation where we can do anything we want to do, you know, if you put your mind to it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
And if there's like something that's stopping you, then there's always a way to jump over it. There's always a way around it. You know what I mean? Because like for me, it was like, how am I going to pay for studio time? I don't have a job. Or how am I going to tell this to my parents when like music doesn't run in my family? Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was sort of like, I got to find my way around this. So with the help of some homies, you know, at the time, we put a plan together, and we found the Street University that counts on studio, free studio time. It's 2-hour sessions every 2 weeks. So we said we'll make the most of it. You know what I mean? So there's always a way around things. That's my probably word of encouragement for a younger generation that want to do something. Just don't set yourself out of it. You can always do it. Like, you know what I mean?
No, for sure. And how do you deal with like when people, like when you're at that age, you could have stopped at like 13, 14, whatever. You could have stopped. People could have said, why are you doing this as a career, especially being from an ethnic background? You got to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something that's high class. Like, how do you deal with those guys telling you to stop, and how did you keep going?
No one's your biggest supporter besides yourself, bro. That's right. You know what I mean? You gotta have the mentality where it's like, no one can stop me. Don't listen to people. No, you can't listen to what people feed you. You know what I mean? Even if people are feeding you positivity, like, yeah, you can take that in and you can appreciate that. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, if this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do. No one can stop me, really. You know what I mean? So,
man, it's hard, man. It's hard.
It is hard. And it's tough. It's tough when you go through things that set you back, especially in the music industry. A lot of snakes in the grass and stuff like that. And, you know, from my experience, I've experienced a lot of that. Yeah. And I thought I was going to stop, but I didn't. You just got to find that self. You got to find it in you. I mean, if you love something, you're not going to stop until you get it.
So that's the next thing I want to talk about, because you have been through a lot of like hiccups through your, you know, journey through hip hop and stuff like that. And one thing that I did find out was that you did have a record deal in LA. Yeah. And unfortunately that fell through. Yeah. Let's go through that journey, and like maybe it could help someone out that's got that, you know, someone pumps their gas here and they're getting G to go overseas before they make that trip. Let's go through that process. How did you get introduced to these guys? And
well, someone found me. I had a manager, and she found me, and she approached me. And then I was 18 at the time. I should have looked into it. You know what I mean? My best advice for people is to look into things before you go about it, because I just jumped into it. I saw it as an opportunity. You know, being young and vulnerable. So I jumped into it, and I thought, why not? You know, like this is everything I've ever wanted. And she basically got me the deal in LA. Like everything was great. She was getting me gigs, studio time at Studios 301. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wow. Yeah. And then she got me the deal in LA, and it was a 5-year contract. And the terms and conditions was for the first year she would still fund me as my manager, like sort of like a probation period. And then from the 4 years onwards with that company in LA, they would go about on taking me on board. So essentially what happened is she never came through with the funds that she promised, and they pulled the deal. So I lost like my end of the deal out of my control, sort of thing.
For sure,
you know. But it could have been in my control if I did my research. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, like that hurt me when I was
for sure,
when I was 18.
Yeah,
because it was there, it was in front of me. I had my bags packed, bro, to go to LA.
Really?
Like, I was supposed to go the next day, bro.
Oh, it was on the day before that happened?
I was supposed to go the next day. I had my bags packed and everything. Yeah. It just it happened, and I cut her off, and I actually stopped making music. I stopped releasing music, I should say. I was making music on the low, but I stopped releasing music. And from like after that, I guess I started studying. I started studying audio engineering at Australian Institute of Music. And that's where I met Gambino.
Oh, nice.
My engineer.
Shout out to AIM.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess me and Gambino were both in a bit of a slump at the time. Him coming from Adelaide, he come through to Sydney with no money, none of that shit, and he come through. He was homeless for a bit, and we sort of picked each other up and said, "Fuck, let's do this music thing." You know what I mean?
All started from the staircase at
uni. At uni, yeah, for sure.
At Sydney Uni, was it?
Nah.
The AIM Uni. Oh, wow. Okay. So how did you meet? What was the?
It was funny, bro. It was
hip hop, really.
Yeah, I was like to him. I looked at him like, "What do you do?" He's like, "Hip hop." I'm like, "Oh, me too."
What was he just sitting there? And
he was just I went up to him, bro. He was just sitting
there.
there.
Why? Was it just randomly?
Yeah, it was random because I knew nobody. He didn't know anyone.
Wow.
So yeah,
how long were you in Sydney to that point?
Oh, fresh as a few weeks.
Oh wow.
You know, sleeping in my car still.
Oh, crazy.
And it was hardcore.
Yeah.
You know, so because I basically just uprooted my life from Adelaide, drove straight here, and
you drove here as well.
Yeah,
that's like 10 hours or something.
Dedication, bro. For music.
16 hours.
All for music, G. You know what I mean? Like
that's dedication, man.
And then we met that day, and ever since then, it's just been so many hours in the studio.
Yeah, for sure.
So many tracks recorded, many, so much time and knowledge put into it.
Yeah.
Man, the reason why, like, is you can feel it in the music, man, for sure. You can feel it's genuine.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean,
do you know what I mean?
Hope so,
no, literally, like, it's genuine. I can feel that. There's a lot of how can I say? Like, you make serious topics sound fun. That's what I was thinking when I was,
I like that. That's funny
because
way to put it.
you got everything, man. You got the modern beat. You got the modern instrumentals. You got the attitude. You got the confidence. You got the swag and all that. But the lyrics is where people fall short, man. Because everyone's not the sound. You sound different from everyone.
Thank you.
But I mean, the lyrics is all the same. Drink, clubs, drive, girls, cars, and then that's the ambition. But for you, it's a family on your back. That's some of the lyrics you talk about. You don't like Frigid's, you said as well.
Yeah, we'll put that out there.
That was in your latest song as well.
On it.
But there's a lot of talk about like a higher power, God, faith, and all that.
For
something I want to go into. I ask every guest as well.
That's okay.
Because there's something in Australia that we're dying of is a belief in something higher than ourselves. We don't have to go deep in it.
Topic,
we don't have to go deep in it, but
topic.
it's something that I feel like that makes the music different, man. Honestly, when you got a deeper understanding of life, it helps with the lyrics. So let's go into faith for you. What's that mean to you? What how does it influence your music?
Well, I grew up in a Catholic home with my parents. I was baptized in a Catholic church. It's sort of when I started to become, a little bit more mature in my 20s, and that, like I believe there was a God and things like that. But to me, I feel like a lot of people misperceive it. Misperceive faith and what it can do for you, because you are a God in yourself. You can do whatever you want to do, and that's what God was trying to preach. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that's how I see these sort of things.
And that's why I want to go to Gambino as well. When you're going through that time, sleeping in your car, before you ever met him, how did you push through that? Was there a faith behind that, or did you have some sort of belief in yourself, or how did you deal with it?
Belief in myself was a big thing, because there was no one else behind it. I was in a new state, new territory, in a place I'd never thought I'd be, like a music university, and it was very overwhelming, and it was really hard at the time, and there were times where I wanted just to give up.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just kept reassuring myself and trying to push through. And I'm glad I did, because we were able to build something really good, you know, and we're still building, you know, but I wouldn't have been able to do it with the likes of Carlo and other people around me, you know. They've played a big part in, you know, helping me get to where I am. So yeah, but I guess, so self-belief was the main part, I believe. I mean, it's not like I'm not saying that I don't have faith.
Yeah.
Of course I do. But yeah, it's more self-driven.
Going back to the topic of no one's going to believe in you more than yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%.
For sure.
Even with this, what I'm doing, like trying to interview people with, there's a fear of like even hitting up somebody, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, one of the things that even is in the Bible that says, "Ask and you shall receive." You know, just ask the question, ask people.
It was trying to teach the way things should be, and it's like what I believe Jesus and God is trying to teach is like not to lean back on me, but to lean back on yourself. Find that within yourself. You find strength within yourself. If Jesus can walk on water, so can you. You know what I mean? Like you can do it. It's just a metaphorical way of saying you can do all things. You know what I mean?
He even says that you can do all things and even greater. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah. I think people look at the fans of faith instead of the actual guy of faith.
That's right.
Like Jesus is the center of it all, but then they go to the people that follow him like, nah, look at him. He's sleeping with kids. Of course. That's not Jesus, you know what I mean?
100%.
Of course, like if you read the actual book, it's not about Jesus.
Yeah, 100%.
But anyway, you know, there was a time when I hated Bulldogs because of the fans, man. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I got to be objective and, you know, look at the team.
Look at the bigger picture. Sort of thing,
and the team was actually good. I just hated them because of the fans. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get into some music. I'm gonna, you know, make us have a bit of a break. I'm gonna play. Let's play. Oh, hold on, let me get into this. Let's talk about this release that you just had recently.
My Way.
Yeah, My Way. Hold on, man. I just had it up. Yeah, tell me about it and tell me how this came about.
So My Way, Pax and I made My Way on a Sunday. On a Sunday, we were both going through a writer's block.
That's true. Right?
Yeah, I was going through a writer's block for like 2 months. He was going through like a production block where we couldn't make anything, bro.
Really?
It was
that sounded good.
anything that sounded good, and then we sort of realized there was like a bit of negative energy around us, and we cut that off.
Yeah, we had to cut some people off.
We cut him off, and we made My Way like straight after it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
It started with a glass of Coke.
It started with a glass of Coke. You hear that bling in the song? Him flicking a glass of Coke, bro.
And that's when you're flicking the wine glass. In
Yeah.
I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan.
That, huh?
I'm a fan.
I put the glass in front of the mic. I would just record it, and that's it. We start from there.
The simplest thing. Simplest thing.
Yeah.
Wow. The thing is, the Sunday that you said it was made on Sunday. The vibe in the beginning is Sunday.
Yeah,
you can feel that.
You can feel
the
that.
trumpet in the beginning.
Oh man,
I love trumpet. Like,
trumpet.
I love listening to trumpet. Like people play trumpet live, you know. But that trumpet there, man, I love it. Like I keep. That's why I like your 30-second one on Insta, because it keeps repeating that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was the point. Though.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. It was beautiful. Okay, let's get into it, and then we'll be back. It's Radio Skid Row 88.9. This is Good Smoke. It's Radio Skid Row 88.9. Remember that number 95509552. Also check out radioskidrow.org and goodsmoke.com.au. Also, let's shout out your Instagram and all your socials so we can check you out.
Yeah, so my Instagram is at It's Inferno. Gambino's Instagram is at Gambino_Fox. Pax's Instagram is at PaxMusic_.
Okay, beautiful.
Well done.
I forgot to press the record
button. It's all right.
It's all right. I got it.
We'll be on
like
the
you were
socials
saying
anyway.
That part. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I got it on audio anyway, so
it's all good.
Okay, now we got Pax in the building, and Pax is an interesting story. You just found out beforehand. He's I can't say fresh, but
fresh off the boat.
Fresh off the boat, or off the plane, whatever. You're FOP with the P at the end. FOP. He's from Italy, and he's been here for 7 years.
Yes, sir.
And the gentleman is a producer, so get that in your head. He's from Italy. He's into hip hop. And he's here, and his English is awesome as well. He's a bit shy.
No.
I understand you, man. So it's all good. I was born here, and my English is bad. So don't worry, your English is doing well.
Fair enough.
So you're the producer, you're the genius behind the music, behind the sound.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for calling me genius.
Okay, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. Well, you're doing good work, man, and especially in here.
I just do myself.
Yeah,
that's all we do.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's keep it real.
Yeah. So how did you start in making beats, man?
That was a long time ago. When I was 15, I was skating. I'm a skateboarder, and I started making beats. And I used to love listening to beats and skating around the city and blah, blah. But then I had the vision, and the vision was getting bigger and bigger. And I thought, like, in Italy it's a bit hard to make it happen. So let's go to Australia. So I ended up in Australia, and I had a lot of trouble and blah, blah, a lot of years. And then I meet him. I meet Inferno. We sit down in the studio one day, full on. It was perfect. Chemistry.
So what was the encounter? How did you actually meet? What was
it's actually through another rapper. He's called Chara. And Chara found him on Facebook.
Yeah, found one of my Facebook
I say, oh, you should collaborate with this guy. This guy's pretty good. He's a lyricist. And I say, all right, bring it over. So he brought him over, and that's it. We start collaborating. We never stop. End of the story. Yeah. We make music every fucking day. That's it.
Wow. Yeah, man, because, you know, in this time, a lot of talk about immigration and migration, and some people just think there's no good that comes out of it. But you're a story that you come from another country into this country. Some people find it hard to make it through. And it seems like in this group, you're the magnet of the group, and you're like, you know, he's the guy
he's getting all the things he needs.
Yeah, the puzzle together. You know what I mean? It's true, but like...
I've been looking for it my whole life, bro. Yeah, you know, I've been looking for a producer... And an engineer to have chemistry with my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, I went through so many producers from, you know, doing it at a young age. And then when I found Pax, it was like, this is the one. Like, this, because I can just tell him how I feel, and he'll put it to the music. And I'll tell Gambino, oh, this is how I want it to sound, and he'll put it to the music, you know? Like, it just works like a chain, you know?
Yeah. I've had experience.
It's a production team.
I've had experience with working producers as well, and to someone to translate what's in your mind. And then you being like, whoa, because it's all in the head in the beginning. There's no
that's what
tangible
it is. It's
thing.
an idea.
Yeah. So how do you know how to translate?
I don't know. Like I just use the feelings.
I think we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Once he tells me what feels he's looking for, then I research for the right sound, and then the sound is guiding me. I'm not actually doing anything. Like, it's the sound telling me what to do. That's the way I produce. So that's why I do different genre of beats productions. Like, I'm not just for hip hop. It can be hip hop, it can be classical music, it can be whatever. You know what I mean? Okay. It's the sound telling me what it should sound.
Yeah. That's a good way to. That's a good way to do it. Because music is essentially feeling anyway.
That's right. That's right. So if I tell the music what I want, then it's not gonna feel the same. You always got that thing, like, you listen to the beat and say, no, maybe it shouldn't sound like that, or maybe. But when you stick to the sound and you just let it go, and then it sounds good.
Yeah. And to have that vibe as well really uplifts that out.
For sure.
He's a quick writer too. Yeah. So
he's a quick producer, quick writer, like quick engineer. We all work like a chain, bro.
Because you want it, you're hungry for it.
We've all wanted it our whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nice. And like, I feel like that's why we're trying to push as much as we can. You know,
strong team.
Yeah, sure.
So a question each. The last one, we'll get into some freestyles for you.
Sure.
Who's your influence in producing? Like, who influences you? And where do you see yourself in 5 years, man?
Dre. I like Dre.
Yeah.
I like the stuff he does.
Dr. Dre, yeah.
Yeah.
And 5 years, where do you see yourself?
5 years.
Or see you guys? Where do you see you guys?
5 years.
We want to be worldwide.
We are the best in the world.
You said it here first, man.
That's the dream. Yeah, we want to be worldwide, man. We want to touch people like with the music worldwide, man. Like, that's the goal, and just, I guess, essentially put on for the culture and that, you know, like, and say like, oh, they came out of Australia, like, you know, like, right, like Australia must be good then, and then it just lifts up everyone else. You know what I mean?
You lifted me up, man. When I saw you, and especially, you know, your nationality is really inspiring to me, man, because like, it's hard for some of the, especially out west. Yeah, 100%. Sure. And I grew up with it my whole life, but to see something positive for once, it's an inspiration, man, and keep going, because there's youth out there that think, because you're this nationality, you can't be something, you know what I mean?
I know.
So keep it going, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Also, your inspirations, who's your hip-hop inspiration?
Our biggest inspiration is Nas.
Nice, yeah. Lyric monster, yeah.
Not only lyricism, the consistency.
Yeah.
And how he dropped an album almost every year, and every one of them is a classic. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
and he's still going to this day.
Yeah, man. He's still spinning to this day. So that's my biggest inspiration. I'd love to get to a point where I can be that consistent and you know, like, with every project I put out. So.
Well, your choice reflects the way you work as well, man. So I can see the inspiration there. All right, let's go. We'll play some Should I surprise you or should I let you know?
Surprise me, bro.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Let's go to the game. Let's go to the game. West Side. Yeah.
Oh shit.
This one's a new one by Game as well. Just came out a month ago or something like that.
What?
West Side. West Side.
West Side Story.
Yeah, West Side.
Nah, that's documentary. That's 03.
Because he has one now.
West Side. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Oh, this is old school then, man.
This is old school. Let's do it.
All right. It's Radio Skid Row 88.9. It's a good smoke.
Jeez. Turn me up. Turn the beat up a little bit. Yeah. Inferno. One take. Shout out Pax, shout out Gambino, shout out Radio Skid Row. Look, hey, I'm about to drive you like a golf club. I'll say some shit you won't love. I'm light years above you with no buzz. So cuz, those bitches on your woody, well fuck. Looky, you got a big ego cause the power's all up in that pussy. Shit. How jealous am I? Why you out with bad bitches? It's just music and this motivation you give me, I just use it to rhyme and rise above the tide that comes so I can be the finest one. Maybe I am crazy, maybe I am racing, maybe I am Mario and you that bitch Daisy. Put you in a daisy, I super smash brothers, giving you mutinous. Now you can't rap nothing. The sooner I dash sucker, we doing the last supper, then move to the back fucker. Tell Loose that I'm back tougher, flowing to beats and making them feel it. You gon' read it back to front like Arabian lyrics. I said I'm back, motherfucker, best remember the name. Inferno in this screwed game, giving you some new flames. I'm too sane, you just sit there and get used once in a while. Shit, like loose change, dig it down into my pockets and I found a few rockets to put me straighter to the top. You got the keys, then I'm the locksmith. Inferno is fucking bony, if you're tight and then show me. They said that they want beef, I said that's a load of baloney. All these haters cocky, killing cockies is my hobby. Meet you inside of the lobby, pickle at you like Tommy. I'm talking rugrats, this rapping is what you must lack. I'm on a fucking level and nobody is above that. Inferno. Yeah, I said Inferno. Yeah, let's go, let's switch it up a little bit.
I wish I could mix it up. I don't have a DJ. So.
That's all right. Let's switch it. Let's go. What she got for me? Oh, it's a classic, bro. I need to stand up. Can I stand up?
Yeah, let's stand up. I'll get you up.
Turn that beat up a little bit. Jeez. Mic checker. Biggie. Alright, let's do it. Look. You're diabolical, wrecking and shedding obstacles. Suggest you're necking yourself. I tie the rope and off you go into the tunnel of hospitals. The doctor quotes the chances of surviving my raps is impossible. Steady and focused, machetes ready. I hold it, come get me. Freddy just told me that I should be getting noticed. Ring around the rosy, got a pocket full of pussies that would never attempt to battle me. They falling over when they push me. Bitch ass rookie, never deserved it. You ain't grind like Madonna in the hold down circus. At the age of 55, I'ma still spit a rhyme. I'ma still kick these lines, get ticks in the nick of time. I don't mean to sound rude, but I'm in a disgusting mood. So if you don't like me, then fuck you too. I got a really foul mouth to send you to down south, filled with a town of mouse. No one will ever know your whereabouts. Y'all attention seeking, I'm preaching a certain teaching method with secrets. My weapons overcome the sequence of a lethal weapon. It ain't over to the fat lady singing, put a pin in the belly. She starts shrinking and sinking into her own fat flesh, and to the point where she gon' have to take her last breath and apologize for doing so. Homicide, funerals, the usual. This and me, I'm killing everyone that's doing so. No poker, but my table is protected like a coaster. Fans screaming with their hands up like they on a roller coaster. You testing bitch ain't the one you wanna be messing with. Raising the bar high like my bars are on cannabis. I'm making moves, amazing the way I rule over these haters. When I'm coming through, I take them to school. Teasing your bitch ass, it's fun, so fuck it. Taking you back cause you're a mistake like the undo button. Bar after bar, I'm killing shit. This mic I ripped the wit. Got you more frustrated than the Rosenberg skit. I just took you to school, boy. No clues you're allowed, so put your question aside and your stupid hand down, unless you one of the fellas that be buzzing in the crowd. 22 from Sydney, Australia, motherfucking bow down. Oh shit.
It's Radio Skid
Oh
Row.
shit.
You're listening to Good Smoke. Keep it going. Inferno.
I was just down
Show
bad.
these people some good smoke, brother. Smash it.
Woo. Easy money. Yeah.
Look, I do not fuck with these industry cats, acting like kings, they finna be slapped. Talking that gas on the phone, but when I see you in person, you giving me daps. I do not fuck with the new gen that claiming they rap, they lyrically whack. Following melodies, jocking your enemies, not really selling me, hitting with facts like damn. What you know about the youngin' on the mic? Grew up on the side of the West, and I bet I can send them at the game like a ref. You would think I'm on a test when I'm letting these texts fly. A lot of these names in the game, think they can hop on the beat, but it's not what it seems. I'm just saying that the game is all policy. See, being honest, my G. If I want knowledge, I'll go get a scholar. I dropped out of college, Steve Jobs on the beat. A lot of you sit and deny, stick with the lies while others be plotting to be some of the greatest alive. Drifting aside, please do not hop in my seat. Down at M5, the coppers do high, just trying to get by. No Talib Kweli, or they wanna ride my wave now. All these little bitches wanna chase clout. On the gram, you be acting so fake. Wow, like what if the gram take your page down? That's none of my business. I'm plotting to kill him. I'm not with the feelings. Gee, hey, pops is depressed. My mama and dad, so I will not stop till the sun making millions. Okay, now. What you know about rolling 5 deep in a 2-door? No red Joe, dodging fast though when I'm whipping like I'm sitting inside of a new Porsche. Oh my God, I cannot stop, man, I should be stubborn. Funny they said I was cookie cutting, but I burned in the bits and then took the oven. I don't fuck with these auto-tune kids. Jump on the beat, they be talking some shit. Can't write any lyrics that make any sense, so they be relying on prime engineers to brighten the lines when the time comes to mix. If I gotta hear about ice on the wrist, I'ma go psycho, I might start a diss. Time to expose, I've been holding it in. Why these producers be using the loops? Ain't talking fruity, I'm talking on tunes. Cannot play it live, I'm speaking the truth. That shit is so little, you acting a fool. What? That shit is so little, you acting a fool. Please do not hit my line like that. Listen, cause I was just fucked up. I was just down bad. I had to tighten the fuck up, but you still wanna doubt. Oh shit, I was just fucked up. I was just down bad. I had to tighten the fuck up, but you still wanna doubt. It's Inferno. Sheesh, shout out Radio Skid Row, man.
Yeah, I got it first here before anyone did.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Down bad.
That's it. That's the bar now. That's the level you have to reach, people.
100, bro.
We had Motherland in here. They've ripped it up too. Now it's you. We also had a guy called DJ. He ripped it up, bro. That was amazing, bro.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you.
You did not only rap for me, but you brought the energy too, bro.
Thank you so much,
you
bro.
brought the energy as well, bro.
Thank
so
you, man.
I appreciate that, man. That, like I said before, like your lyrics, then the beats, you know, upbeat. It's music. It's what do you call it? It's party. But if you actually listen to the lyrics, there's wisdom in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I noticed with you, man. With some of your other older stuff, you're very lyrical, man. Very lyrical, which
for
is
sure, yeah.
And you, I feel like you've learned how to say that, like less is more. The less that you say, the more that you
say less, do more.
Yeah,
that's the team motto, man. You know, I actually speak a lot louder. You know what I mean? So that's the way we work. We try and work like that.
Okay, man. Let's wrap it up, man. You wrap up now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Any last shout outs to anyone out there?
Just shout out everyone that's supporting, you know, like and just constantly coming to my shows. And I got a show coming up tomorrow actually called Big Love. So, you know, come down to that, Oxford Art Factory. So, yeah, I mean, just shout out everyone that's supporting and just like following me to my shows and stuff. Like without them, like this music wouldn't be heard, you know. Like we got to just keep pushing and you know, shout out Pax, shout out Gambino, that's the squad, you know. Shout out everyone doing it for the Sydney scene.
Man, I got heaps of questions to ask, but I'm sorry, I know you need to leave, but one more.
Sure.
What's the presence, what's it like being on stage performing, man? Like, it's different from being
It's a different world, man. Yeah.
Can you share that quickly? Like, what do you...
It's a different world. I feel like I'm a different person on stage. It's something, I don't know what comes hold of me, but like I'm just hella focused, man. I don't know how to describe the feeling. It's probably the best feeling in the world, man. You know, getting up on stage and doing what you love to do, you know?
I saw some of your videos on stage, and man, it looks like you have heaps of fun.
For sure, yeah.
I really appreciate you guys coming in, man.
Thank you so much for having us, man.
Anytime, man. And when you got some new stuff coming in, like let us know, man, because
for sure.
I want to have you in more often, and you know, I want to be. This is a platform for you type of guys.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Any shout outs to the camera? Last ones.
Shout out everyone that's supporting. Say let's do more. 2019, 2020.
Shout out to Smoke. Shout out to everyone out there that's listening.
DJ Skid Row. Shout out. Let's do it.
Shout out to everyone out there that's listening. We'll check this. Yeah.
Go get that good smoke, huh?
Creative juices. Anyway, this will be on. This interview will be on in a month or so, something like that.
Beautiful.
So I'm slowly releasing them. So hopefully you guys can see that. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for today. This is Good Smoke, and I appreciate you for listening. Thanks, Inferno. Thanks very much. Guys.
Thank you very much.
Radio Skid Row, 88.9. It's a Good Smoke.